The Mercedes EQE 350 Plus sold really, really well. That came out in 2022, mid 2022. That's kind of like the old one to this new car, the Mercedes CLA. But there are just two things that I want to mention about the new one that nobody seems to mention at all in any of the things I've read or watched in the last couple of days. And then I'll make sure that you know all the specs, basically, about the new Mercedes CLA. The Mercedes EQE 350 Plus has a 96 kilowatt-hour battery and has a WLTP range of 694 kilometers, but will probably do at slow speeds, 90 or 100 kilometers per hour, about 600 kilometers on a charge in the real world in a fairly flat country. But I think that's still fairly good. So that came out in 2022, and now in 2025, I can't imagine what they were thinking when they said that the new car with an 85 kilowatt-hour battery can do 791 kilometers on a charge WLTP. In the real world, I think it's more going to be like 500 or 550 kilometers, and I'm not really sure if we would all be okay. For example, if we went to a restaurant and we ordered some food and it said on the menu it was going to cost you 30 euros according to the menu, but when you got the check or when you got the bill at the end and they swiped your card, they just didn't say anything, but they just swiped 35. In no other context is this okay. I'm not really sure why this is becoming the norm, where numbers are just wildly off. And yeah, it's tricky to navigate it sometimes. But the range of a vehicle is fairly simple in different parts of the world to give you a sense of what it's going to be. So in Europe, maybe we should have our own standard. And I think generally WLTP is the one that we use most commonly, and then sometimes take 10 or 15% off roughly, and that's maybe what you'll get. We drive 100 or 110 kilometers per hour most of the time, so I think it would be quite easy to work out European standards for range with electric vehicles. Hello folks, thank you for joining me. I'm Ben Alexander and I make EV news videos every day. I've been working really, really hard to prove it. I've got an addiction to Smash. This is like the 4th packet of Smash I've had this week. So yeah, if you're in Norway or Sweden, you can get Smash every day if you want. And yeah, owing to the fact that I was ill for 3 months, yeah, I've been trying to really work hard with my videos and my writing. So yeah, so many people have been messaging, and it's really, really nice. So thank you very much for the emails and the comments underneath asking how I'm going. I'm pretty decent. I'm all right. So the Mercedes CLA, the new one, will probably have a starting price, it's not confirmed though, of about £40,000, 47,000 euro, a top speed of about 210 kilometers per hour on all variants, and it will come with, all of them will come with a 2-speed gearbox to take away some of the strain from the motor, which makes it more efficient at higher speeds, and that's what they say. And yeah, it will come with either 268 horsepower rear-wheel drive in the CLA 250 Plus, or 349 horsepower all-wheel drive version, CLA 350 4MATIC version. And basically, even the four-wheel drive version isn't really a four-wheel drive version. It uses the back motor to avoid parasitic drains, chucks in the extra 100 or so horsepower at the front, and then only when you floor it or you really need the power. There'll be a hybrid version as well, coming with a 1.5 litre petrol in 2026. And also this battery version comes with an 800 volt battery and 320 kilowatt charging. Interestingly, it weighs as much as the Moon. It weighs 2.135 tons, so 2,135 kilograms. It's a very heavy car, obviously. And only, I think it's 65 kilos more than the V6 petrol version equivalent or something like that. I read that on the internet somewhere today. Or you could equate it to 2 Honda Jazzes or 200 Honda Fit cars if you're in America. 2 of those wrapped into one package. So the dual motor variant is said to reach 100 kilometers per hour in 4.8 seconds, while the single motor version has a claimed 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.6 seconds, which is, they're both nippy. Like, they're definitely nippy cars. Top speed 210 kilometers per hour, all models. The petrol version coming soon will also come with a Chinese-made Geely 2-litre petrol engine. What do you all think to it? I've tried to keep this fairly short, just to try and give you the information, give you what you want. Put it in the comments, and yeah, I've been reading lots of interesting comments, and a lot of people don't seem to like the look of these really efficient, almost, you could almost say, teardrop-esque Mercedes Benz electric vehicles. And, you know, it has aerodynamic mirrors, aerodynamic wheels, and it's serving its purpose quite well, I think, as an electric motorway cruiser, particularly if you're a German and you will be, you know, going on the Autobahns a lot, because driving quickly for 2 hours in a petrol or a diesel can kind of cost a lot of money. But if you can charge it up at home, rock it to work for an hour, rock it back for an hour, and chuck on the kilometres on your electric car, that's the dream, I think. You'd save a lot of money. And yeah, that's awesome for those people, I think, if you can do that. If I got one, I'd drive it all over Europe. I really, really would. I'd also get it in black, with no question. I think it would be a really nice car. And I've been in them as well. I've been in a couple. And I've been in the, I think the very first version of this sort of electric Mercedes car that they made. And it's one of the nicest cars that you can drive, I think. One of the absolute nicest. And I'm definitely not a huge Mercedes or Volkswagen or Audi fanboy, or German sort of, you know, fanboy. I'm just really not. And yeah, it's just really that good. What are the main issues that you can see with this car? When you hear me talk about it and I mention the specs and everything like that, let me know in the comments. And if you've only got one or two issues, well, that's okay. Just put that anyway, and we'll see what everyone says. And it'd be interesting to see if there's any repeated comments. That's what I'll be looking out for. So thank you very much. Please consider subscribing. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video tomorrow, which is like a really special video about AI and breakthroughs in battery technology.